All right, so let's jump right in. Navionics. The Navionics app has been the #1 app for navigation on iTunes and Google Play. I think they've sold right around 7 million of these apps, and it's worth every penny that you spend on it. You know, $9.99 to get the app and $4.99 to renew. Jumping into the type of maps that you will find on the Navionics app. You guys can probably see my cursor. You'll see down here there's a tab, and you can go through and it'll show it'll show the government chart. You'll see the Navionics chart, which is the nautical charts. Now, the nautical charts will give you what you need if you are trying to navigate through an area. It doesn't give you the contour lines like you get with the SonarChart. The SonarChart, you'll see the 1-foot contour lines, and you'll also get that navigation, the navigation beacons, and of course all your notes in the map itself. Going right through there. And if you guys have any questions, just raise your hand up and I'll try and get to them as best and as quickly as I can, if anything. If I'm going too fast, guys, let me know. All right. One of the things that I found was really beneficial to me and is being able to know the weather. And it's a safety, there's a safety factor involved there. Whenever you're going somewhere and those pop-up thunderstorms come out in the summertime, or you check the wind conditions. The wind looks great where you are, but you can check the wind conditions somewhere else. Everybody hear me okay? All right, so checking the weather app on that, you can see that right here, you can click on that, or you can go down to the menu button. If you go down to the menu button, what you'll get is this information here. Now you're going to see quite a bit of information between the temperature, sunrise, sunset, tidal flows, and the weather as far as that goes. All right. You can also check your weather from the crosshairs. Now the crosshairs, if you go right here on those crosshairs, it'll pull up the same information. That information will get you on the phone app. And what I showed you first was the iPad HD app. It will show you the information for that particular area, your wind directions, your tides, if it's rising, falling, where it is, moon phases. But not only can you check it in your area, but you can also check it somewhere else. Say I'm sitting at the house and I want to know what the weather conditions are in Guntersville, or the previous slide was Pointe-aux-Chenes, Louisiana. Now, I can sit there and check that and look at what the weather's going to do for that week, do a little planning, and taking into account the weather. And it shows you the same information with the exception of lake levels, things like that. The information comes from the Weather Channel. But you see winds, wind speeds, pretty much the same information there. Now you can get tidal information if you are in those coastal regions. Excuse me. You can get the tidal information by clicking on this side of the crosshairs along with the weather. And you can drill down into that and get some details about it, what time low tide is, high tide, sunrise, things like that. And it's really handy. I found it really handy when I'm salt fishing, and I know a lot of the other guys that I fish with, they said that, and they're the ones that pointed it out to me before I even got in line with Navionics. They showed me this, and I thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about dropping a pin or a marker. You find you an area that you place your crosshairs on it, and you see the question mark. Well, when you see that question mark, you'll get this, you'll pull this screen up right here, and it's just giving you the information of the area that you have highlighted with your crosshairs. Now, up at the top, you have an option. You can click on that pin, and you have a drop down. You have a pin, a house icon, fish icon, anchor icon, and you can mark that however you want to. If you find a spot that, hey, I'm going to mark it that, you know, there's fantastic fishing right here, I'm going to drop the fish. You know, if that's your home location or your start location, drop that, or just drop a normal pin. Don't really think most kayak anglers need to worry too much about anchoring out and staying anchored out, but it's a handy feature if you're in a big boat. All right, so I found the area that I want, and I dropped my pin. And you can label your pins. I've labeled this pin as "this place sucks" because the area that I showed you sucks. That area is Limestone Bay. I fished it a few times. Other folks call it Chocolate Milk Bay. You know, I've never gotten a bite in there. There's other guys that absolutely love it, but I think they're smoking crack personally. And once you mark that pin, you can leave the pin up or you can delete the pin. But if you leave a pin up, you can hover your crosshairs back over it, and it will label whatever you label that pin. So if I'm going back through a new area and I fished it and I mark that pin, I'm like, you know, I don't know what this pin's for. Well, now I know what this pin's for. This place sucks. All right. Let's talk a little bit about your boat settings. Chris, one of the questions that Chris Condor asked me the last time that I did this, as far as going over the Navionics app, one of the questions he asked me was about setting up your boat for doing your routes, because he said some of his routes were, you know, he just didn't think that the distance was correct or the time that it took to get there was correct according to the app. So I showed him this, and setting up your boat or setting up your app for your boat, it's important whenever you're trying to set up a route. So what you want to do is you want to go to your settings, go to your map options, and you'll see boat settings. If you click on boat settings, you can enter your specific boat data. Like I fish out of a Jackson Cuda HD. It's 12 feet long, the beam 3 feet. Draft is about I can't go any lower than a foot. It won't give me an option to go any lower than a foot on that, but you can set your cruising speed, and I set mine to 3 miles per hour. That's about a steady paddle for me. Some you guys that pedal boats, Hobies, things like that, you know about how fast you go. Check your GPS speed. If that's about your cruising speed, set it in there just as an average. And your depth of the sensor sonar, that's important if you're doing SonarChart live stuff. You want to have that set up as well. And if you feel like it, you can put a picture of your boat up there. The cows they seem to like my boat that day when I was fishing a creek, and I thought it was a pretty cool picture. All right, so setting up a route, you can set up a route in different ways. You can set it up and leave it automatic or manual. The automatic, if you are sitting on the couch or you're doing some research, doing a little homework on where you're going to fish, and you kind of want an idea of how long the paddle is, about how long you think it'll take, you want to do it in manual mode. In automatic, if you're sitting on the couch, it is going to route you from your couch to wherever it is you want to look at. So doing it in manual mode is best if you're at home doing a little research. If you're out on the water and you kind of want an idea of how long it's going to take you to get back to the ramp from where you are or anything else, you can do it in automatic, and it will use your location and set it up from there. All right. What you want to do, oh, let me go back one, I'm sorry. You know, it gives you the instructions whenever you set up for manual. It says tap and hold the map to add waypoints. All right, so you're going to hold your finger down on that particular point that you're going to start from. And let's say we're going to start from the ramp in Limestone Bay. You're going to set that point, and in manual mode, if you were to set this pin from here and set it to here, it's going to draw a straight line. So give yourself a little bit and set your points, and it will total up all of your points and give you your distance and about how long it's going to take you. Since you're in a kayak, it's not going to give you fuel consumption, obviously. But if you have it set up for a big boat, power boat, however, it will give you your approximate fuel consumption. Excuse me. But you can see that from the ramp at Limestone Bay out to the mouth of Limestone Bay, it's approximately 2 miles. It's a handy feature while you're doing that homework and trying to figure out how far you want to paddle to a certain location. And you can also set up a breadcrumb trail or a track. And that's simple. You do that from your main screen on the app and just hit start, and it will start your track. And you can backtrack through. That's pretty handy, especially if you're fishing, you know, backwoods, swamp, bayou. You get out there at night, get turned around a little bit. You can go back and retrace your steps. That is extremely, to me, that's extremely handy, especially if you're fishing a new area. And you can save that track and go back and look at the past info from it, play it back. However, you know, and that can be pretty handy too if you're fishing an area you're like you're fishing down a bank and you're going a pretty good ways. Drop a pin there, drop a pin there, drop a pin there, and it kind of gives you an idea of how far off the bank you are, or how far off of a piece of structure, a contour line, anything like that. If you mark where you caught a fish. Community edits, the magnifying glass up there, you can see the different community edits, and just from hovering your crosshairs over it, you'll see those community edits when you hit the question mark. Something that I didn't show you guys earlier that's still kind of cool for you folks living in areas that the tide plays into effect of where you fish and how you fish. This down at the bottom, right above that start menu, you can click on that on the app, hover your crosshairs over it, hit the question mark, and it will give you the tidal details as well. I thought that was pretty cool because you'll find these different tide markers throughout the app itself, and that will give you those details. And there's a button over on the bottom left hand side that says details, and will further give you, it will give you a little bit more about it. You can enter longitude, latitude searches. You know, if you have those guys that post up their locations on forums or in Instagram, Facebook, you know, they take those pictures, and you know, you're looking at their depth finder, and oh, well, there's longitude, latitudes. You can go sneak off to their spot and catch that big fish, hooper it, however you want to do. That's why you find that I always try and cover up those things whenever I take a picture. And for us old guys, you can magnify what you're looking at by hitting that easy view. It'll magnify the icons and the text. All right, now let's get into some of the advanced map options. I've had a lot of people ask me about the fishing ranges. Now, if you haven't updated your app since they've added the fishing ranges, you need to update your app. This right here saves a lot of time and a lot of effort whenever you're just doing a little bit of homework on the app, sitting around at the doctor's office, whatever. and you're trying to find those fishing ranges, those areas that you just want to fish, this is handy. To get there, you want to go to the settings, okay, and scroll up. A lot of people can't find it because it's hidden behind the map down at the bottom, but if you scroll up, you'll find the fishing ranges tab. When you find that fishing ranges tab, click on it and turn it on. It's like this. Once you get those fishing ranges turned on, you can name those fishing ranges and set those ranges however you want to. Setting it up's real easy. Hit the add range, which is right above the chart, right below where you're going to add your ranges at. Just hit that the plus, and you can add your different ranges. You can add up to 5 ranges. Name them whatever you want and set your depths however you want. You'll see there's a 0-0 feet. You click on that and it will give you a menu, a scroll menu, and you can set it up however you want. As you can see, I've got just these different ranges set up: 2 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 15 to 25. That's about as deep as I'm going to fish, but you can set them up, I think, as deep as 300 feet, maybe 150, but maybe 300. 300 feet, I believe, is what it is. And looking, hang on, guys, sorry. You can look at it, and if you're just sitting on the couch, you're like, all right, well, I'm just going to wipe all these out because I'm going to go fish a new lake. And I've heard that the fish are biting between these ranges. I'm going to look for humps, rises that's in 4 to 7 feet of water, right? Or you're looking for them to rise from or come out of 7 feet and come up to 4. If you think, and if you heard that Craig Dye or Chris Condor or some of those guys is out there fishing, crankbait fishing in 7 to 9 feet of water, you can set those ranges up as well on a different color. These are your different color ranges. You can set that up on a different color, label it how you want to, and go fishing. And just kind of give you an idea. Now that is with just those 2 ranges set. Right here, you'll find the hump. Right here is where you're cashing big checks through that creek channel right there. And this is actually an area I fished, and it's got some good fish on it. Make sure the coordinates aren't up there anywhere. I don't see the cord, so I'm good to go. You can also adjust that water level. You're fishing different times of year. I know on the Tennessee River and other places that the water level, they adjust it for flood staging and winter pool, summer pool. You can adjust that water level. Just adjust that water level up or down according to your season. You can hit it right here. Adjust that up or down. Right here there's no adjustment or no correction at 0 feet. And when you adjust that water level, what you'll see is those contour lines will also adjust with it. So you adjust this down to 3 feet. If you're sitting in a 15-foot area, a 15-foot contour, and you adjust it 3 feet, you'll see that 15-feet contour is going to drop to 12 feet. So that's a pretty handy function to have if you are fishing an area that has that fluctuation in water, and you can drop the water as far as 150 feet. The next slide is showing you that with 16 feet water level, you see how far back that it's going to show you on the app. You can also get in with some satellite overlay. Word of caution on satellite overlay, and this is something that I've brought up to the tech team and customer service. If you use a satellite overlay with the fishing ranges and you've got your fishing range colors set up, some of your fishing ranges may show up as black in the contours. You'll still see the contours. You'll still see your ranges. Don't be concerned though. It's nothing crazy with that. If you turn the satellite overlay off, that goes away. And updating, you can update your charts for whatever areas you want to fish in. It will save you some time. When you hit the update button, you can figure out that one square, expand it out, draw it in however you want to, and just download that one area. And if you don't have the app, like I said earlier, it's you can get it for 2 weeks for free. First year's $9.99, and renewing subscriptions is $4.99 after that. All right, guys, that's going to pretty well wrap it up. There's a lot of other things that could be covered on this, but I don't want to go over 30 minutes on this. That's quite a bit of time and a lot of information in that short amount of time. But if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, something that you'd like to see a webinar about, just shoot me an email, jlack@navionics.com, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you have or get you to the person that can answer those questions. And I want to say thank you for attending, and I've got a few minutes to take some questions and give away some swag. So if you guys have any questions, now's your time to fire them off. All right. Okay, let's try and figure this out, shall we? All right. All right, so got a question. Got a question. When you drop that fish pin, is that just for you and not public? Yes, that is just for you unless you make it for a community edit. You can make those community edits. But uh, I typically don't upload too many community edits. All right, so the next question, do you get all options with both iPhone and iPad? I believe yes. The ones that are certainly pertinent, the ones that you want, yes. I don't know that, I don't have the HD app for the iPad yet. I don't have an iPad that'll actually support it right now, hoping that maybe mama gets me one for Christmas, but yes. Let's see, any other questions? Let's see. Looking. All right. Let's see. Just 1 second, guys. Tuned in late. Will this be replayed? Yes, give it about 3 days, and it will be on the Navionics YouTube channel. Like I said earlier on, Brian, this is just one portion of it. There's a lot of information to go over, and trying to go over it all at one time, it's like drinking from a fire hose. So we're going to try and break this down a little bit into sections, and maybe that'll help out a lot. See, how can you synchronize the app on the phone with the one on the computer? That one I don't know. I've never tried that. The synchronize button on the app, you can synchronize that to different units that are Wi-Fi capable, to do SonarChart live, transfer updates, things like that. But as far as syncing it with the one on the computer, I'm not sure on that one. I'll have to get back with you, Phil. All right. How can you transfer this to the Navionics on the depth finder? You can synchronize, like I said just a minute ago, you can synchronize and do SonarChart live. And SonarChart live is one of those things that really you could dedicate just about an entire half hour, 45 minutes just to that subject. Jim Furlong, gentleman that contacted me the other day, he and I were discussing some of the nuances of it and a couple of the issues that he's had going on with it, and hopefully we're getting all of that resolved. But you can sync your phone and your depth finder if your depth finder is Wi-Fi capable. All right, well, let's see here. Do you set up pins on a route and spots to hit during a pre-fishing trip? Yes. Yes, absolutely. I will research an area, like I said, set up my depth colors on the fishing ranges, look at it, see what I've got, and drop a pin there, and look for the closest boat ramp and plan my routes through that and see how long it's going to take me to paddle it, where the closest boat ramps, is there a public launch on the side of the road, anything like that. But yeah, I set up my pins on a route. All right. All right, guys. If we don't have any more questions or anything, I really appreciate you guys attending. Um, thank you so much. This is the first one that I've done by myself, and great participation. And I'm going to look through the list of participants and put your guys' name in a hat, and you guys, the 3 people that will be drawn, will get an email from me or from Yak Attack, and you have an opportunity to win that $25 gift card from Yak Attack. Thanks so much to Yak Attack again. Hook One Outfitters, guys. Thank you so much. Hope to see you out on the water. Have a great night.